Here we are on King's Pier with Gordon Mcguire of Ichi. A slightly different race for you.
It was a slightly different race. It was a game of two halves, but I think there were actually four halves, which would be 4 quarters. And 3 quarters of it was rubbish. In the last quarter, we actually finally got our act together and just didn't close the deal against these guys, who did an awesome job.
And when you say these guys, you're talking about the guys next door to you here.
Yes.
Sam Haynes and Celestial. So what did they do that you didn't in your mind?
They sailed better for the first 3 quarters. And then the last quarter we almost got away enough and didn't quite. I suspect we lost by a minute and a half or something uncorrected time to them. And while we don't know what that does overall, we only ever measure ourselves against our peers. It's fall after that on a handicap basis. You know, they're a big boat race, but amongst the 52s, if you win amongst the 52s, you're usually in the money.
So we typically talk to you about driving, and
Yeah, interesting. Discovered a new management system called Delegate. No, just joking. It was actually a really interesting race. Obviously, the first night was notoriously rough and there's a lot of breakages. The honest truth is, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that windy. I've been in much worse Hobarts, but it was a wind against tide situation, which creates quite a bumpy sea. And over the last 4 or 5 years, the Hobarts have been getting rather gentlemanly, and this one was far from it. This was a really classic get flogged for the first 24 hours, and a bit of a last man standing situation. So when we put this boat together, it was always in the back of our minds that one day we'll have a traditional Hobart and we might have to finish it. So that was the first time we actually got to test it all, because most of them were fairly gentlemanly. And most of the gear worked. We were pretty pleased.
And much by way of changes in the gear lately?
Yes. We've constantly been optimizing and improving the boat. We're actually really pleased at where the boat is at. You wouldn't know from that result because we lost, obviously, but I think, to be honest, we lost because of the decisions we made on the racetrack.
In the first night or later?
Yeah, the first night. First night we got ourselves quite a long way behind, and the racetrack didn't really allow us to catch up, and our opposition didn't allow us to catch up, and they sailed really, really well. They seized the moment. They had an opportunity, and Jesus, they jumped all over us.
Was that about choosing whether to be further in, further out, or just when you were attacking?
Yeah, it was just a tactical decision to push further east than anyone else. Trying to get the other side of a ridge, which was producing, or we felt a significant shift in how the wind was going to play up. The ridge was supposed to remain stationary, but it moved, as ridges do, and actually everybody all over the course ended up with the same wind we had, but we had sailed out of our way to get there. So we committed to sailing a longer course, I guess, to get more favourable conditions, and then as the ridge moved across the fleet, got the benefit of that ridge.
Well, and how?
25.
25. And where does this fit in that sort of realm of Hobarts for you?
This one? Oh, yeah, in terms of hardship, top 5, yeah. Well, just purely because we got smashed up at the beginning. I'm an awful lot older than I used to be, and we were behind, and we don't like that. So it was like this massive, perfect storm of bad shit going on. Yeah.
There's an opportunity to be back next year, I take it.
Yeah, because no one remembers who was second.
Well done. Thanks very much indeed, Gordon. Cheers. Thanks for that, Gordon.